Yes, you heard right. Get 90 days of picks for only $6.10 per day. A WagerTalk 90-day all-access pass covering all sports, all client releases, and all 5% best bets are priced at $8.49. But for a limited time, you can save $300 and lock in your favorite WagerTalk handicapper for the next 3 months for only $5.49, coming out to just $6.10 per day. Have an existing all-access pass? No worries. Your 90 days will be added to your current subscription and won't kick in until your current access expires. Act fast, as this offer expires Sunday at midnight.
Welcome in here, guys, to another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show, a very special edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. It is now day 2 of the NBA play-in series. We had the Eastern Conference last night. We got the Western Conference tonight. And those games can be pretty good here tonight, too, as we are looking at the 4 Western Conference teams trying to do battle tonight, including the Memphis Grizzlies, going to be taking on San Antonio, as well as the game of the evening for many of us, the Lakers taking on the Golden State Warriors. If you win, well, you're in. If you're not, you got to play a couple of more games. So who better to talk about Lakers? And, well, the Cavs aren't playing, but he's here anyway, man. Guys, we got 5. Look at this 5 panel we busted out for you here. Look at this crew. Ski Prophet in the house. Laker time, you can tell that. Just underneath him, welcome in Brian Leonard in the house. I know he's upset that the Cavs didn't make the playoffs, but there's always next year, Brian. We'll get him, I swear. Tony Mejia in the house as well. And, of course, the Godfather, there he is, Teddy Covers, Sportsmemo and WagerTalk.com. Gentlemen, welcome in here as we get ready for the Western Conference play-in. So who better to start with? Ski Prophet, talk to me here, my man. You were on Boston last night. I know you were, you dirty scoundrel, so congratulations there. What do you got going on right now at WagerTalk.com here tonight?
Yeah, yesterday was a really good day. I won 4 out of 5, so let's keep it going today. So far today, I've only made 1 selection, and I might have another one in the next hour or 2.
Oh, all right. So a little tease there. I love that. He's teasing us in there. Brian Leonard, my friend, welcome back in. Major League Baseball continuing to roll. NHL playoffs right now for you. And, of course, the NBA playoffs just about to get started or have gotten started. What do you got going on at WagerTalk.com tonight?
Yeah, you mentioned the NHL playoffs, currently 4-0 in the NHL playoffs. Nice 2-0 day for us yesterday. I've got 1 play up today in the NHL playoffs. Finished 3rd overall in profit during the regular season. I believe Perez took number 1, but I finished 3rd, and it's been a really nice season in hockey. 1 major play up there, a game of the month play, and then 2 baseball plays up on the site for a Wednesday.
The hell is wrong with you letting the Prez beat you up? Good Christ, Brian. We're going to have a conversation after the show. I got to have that right there. Never admit to it. If it doesn't happen, nobody knows about it. But good luck here tonight. Always, he's dominating in the NHL. Tony Mejia, my man, talk to me, brother. Loaded card here today, of course, and I know you are locked and loaded. What's going on at WagerTalk.com?
Yeah, I've got a play in today, and I'll probably have at least 3 more. I went heavy yesterday. I went on 7 total plays that I liked, and props that I like, man. I gave one away on the show. Sabonis, 14 points, 21 rebounds, 9 assists. That fell a bucket short of coming through. And I'd like Terry Rozier to hit at least 3 threes, and he went 0 for 9. So maybe I jinxed the Hornets. I'm not sure. But we'll bounce back, and we're coming in.
Have nothing
they
to do
just
with
didn't
you,
show up. Oh, Rozier going 0 for 9. Good Lord.
You could have hit more shots than Rozier did, Mejia.
I would have hit more shots than Rozier.
But you, and I know Teddy would have too. He just will never admit it. But Mejia, ready to go, locked and loaded, back at it here tonight. Teddy, talk to us, my man. What's going on at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo.com for you tonight?
So just to make this very clear, from 3-point range, I would without a doubt have made the same number of 3-pointers as Terry Rozier did last week, which is 0. I'm not hitting 3-pointers with nobody watching, let alone with NBA players. on the floor. For this evening, and look, Tony, you had a bad night last night. I had a worse night last night. I didn't do anything right. With the exception of the free play on the show, the best bet on the under was a winner. We'll see if we can do another best bet winner today. We'll talk about a side later in the show, but I do have one NBA play for this evening up and available. It's on the total in the Lakers-Warriors game. So get that right now over at WagerTalk or SportsMemo.com.
All right. Teddy is saying we are not under any circumstances hitting threes, so we might as well move on to the Spurs and Grizzlies here since we got bricks all over the place. Let's do this here, guys. Game number 1 tonight will be the San Antonio Spurs. The Memphis Grizzlies opens up at 3, gentlemen. I am seeing 4s pretty much across the board. I'm also seeing a total of 225, so that is down a little bit from that 225.5 open. Ski, I will start with you, my man. The Spurs ended the season with, well, 4 straight losses. Not good. Also a couple of back-to-back losses against the Phoenix Suns. We talked about this Memphis team a lot during the season, especially the second half after the All-Star game. They were a bet-on team. Are they a bet-on team heading into this game here tonight, moving forward in the playoffs?
Yeah, this has kind of become like a personal type of thing for me with the Memphis Grizzlies. I think I feel a different way than a lot of other people about this team and player, in specific, John Morant. Like, I'm not a fan of the Grizzlies. They've been okay during the regular season, but, I mean, playoff basketball, things are going to slow down. You can't get that same fast break basketball. If you can't shoot, you're not really going to have success. They don't make free throws. Not a great three-point shooting team. And you can game plan against that. And you're going up against Pop, who's one of the great coaches in the NBA. I'm sure he'll have his team ready. And just thinking about it, like, they left the Spurs off the ESPN graphic. And we saw that happen in the women's college tourney this year. And the team that was left off the graphic beat the team who was supposed to win easily. I saw DeJounte Murray make a comment about it on Twitter. So I'm sure they took notice. And I think the Spurs come to play today. I like the Spurs +4.
Oh, liking the Spurs to get it done. Brian, how much stock do you put into those 2 games against the against the Phoenix Suns there at the end? Pop wasn't even there. I think he was at the Hall of Fame ceremony. So I don't, current form, who do you like here in this one?
Well, current form, you got to take a look at Memphis. As San Antonio really backed into the playoffs. And you see some of the quotes coming out of San Antonio. Teddy's the big quote guy, so I might be stealing some of his thunder. But DeRozan says, this is an opportunity to go and try to capitalize on. He goes, go out there and start with 1 game, get another game, and see what happens. It doesn't seem like a confident team to me from a quote like that. For me, it's an interesting game from a total standpoint. The last 3 times these teams have played, they scored 250, 241, and 235 points, and the line opens lower, and it continues to be bet lower. And it makes a lot of sense to me, as I think this will be a lower scoring game. What Memphis wants to do is move the ball in transition. They're number 1 in points per possession at 4.0, but San Antonio doesn't let you do that. They're at 1.3 in points per possession in transition, which is number 1 defensively against number 1 offensively, Memphis. It's a situation for me where I think it'll be a low-scoring game. People take a look at that, and the first thing on your thought would be, well, they played all these high-scoring games. We saw this in the Indiana game yesterday. Everybody thought that was going under, and they scored about 250 or so, 260. So it's a situation for me that I think there's some value here on the under. It could be the last game of the season for one of these teams, and you're going to go out and play better defense. And so I prefer the under in this game.
Oh, liking the under here. Tony Mejia, let me ask you, I think the road team in pretty much blowout fashion was the winner of the 3 games they played this year. Does that continue here tonight?
It might. I mean, I won't write off the Spurs. They took a winding path to get to this playing spot. They took nights off where they gave everybody the night off and just played their young guys. They did that in Detroit, where Popovich and Dwayne Casey premeditated it. They have Really tried to groom guys like Lonnie Walker and Devin Vassell to be playoff contributors. And now they get here, and I think Greg Popovich is going to roll the dice in terms of letting all his guys try to get this experience so they can get to the Lakers, Warriors loser and make the most out of the season. So I think the Spurs will show up. And with Memphis, Ja Morant is electric, but he does have games where he can't find his rhythm offensively. I have a player prop regarding Dylan Brooks, who's very similar. We should see defense in this game. A lot of shot blockers, Jakob Poeltl for the Spurs, Jaren Jackson Jr., Valanciunas, Brandon Clark, who's playing a lot better for Memphis. So, I think we'll see defense. I do agree with the line starting where it did. I'm surprised it didn't start a little higher, but, it's probably in the right place right now. So I'll have, like I said, a player prop best bet, and, my lean would be the under here.
So, Teddy, it's an interesting point Brian makes up with the total. It's coming down, continuing to come down. And San Antonio's defense, certainly the last couple of games, didn't look like anything I would bet an under on. How are you going to approach this game, total or a side?
So, I mean, the Spurs were not a great defensive team at any point this season. It didn't get a whole lot better after LaMarcus Aldridge left the squad. So, they weren't a team with Poeltl's okay in terms of low post defense, but he's no strong rim protector. On the perimeter, they had their fair share of struggles. So we're not talking about an elite defensive team. It's also a very young team for San Antonio. This is the youngest average age for any team that Pop has ever coached. 9 players under the age of 25. And certainly from a player prop standpoint for tonight, this is a quote worth noting from DeJounte Murray. If you're looking to bet some Spurs guys under, anyone you think might get off to a rough start, I'd be looking to bet anyone on San Antonio under other than DeMar DeRozan when it comes to points or points, rebounds, assists, because Murray's quote, Pop's going to have a short leash because he understands what's at stake. If your numbers be called, be ready to go, which means, the Spurs have played a very deep rotation all year. And I would expect more of the same tonight. Anyone comes out and struggles, I wouldn't hesitate betting San Antonio players under this evening, with the exception of DeRozan. There's another quote. No, Brian, you didn't steal my thunder. You used different quotes than I was going to. I got a Rudy Gay quote. Talking about, the Spurs have 8 losses in the month of May by an average of 15 points per game. They had some really bad losses. And some of the some of the analysis of this series based on the advanced metric guys are telling San Antonio's dead, they're awful, they're hopeless. Rudy Gay, quote, we haven't been playing as well as we probably could, and that's obvious. We're at a point right now where we are desperate. Of course they haven't played as well as they possibly could. They played 40 games in 68 days with a mismatched roster. A couple days off, I think, does San Antonio a whole lot of good. And one thing, last point on this, we saw last night very clearly. It was the one thing that absolutely stood out to me, and it cost me, unfortunately, was that the teams with playoff experience showed up. And the teams without the ability that hadn't had to flip that switch, both of them, Washington, Charlotte, bad losses for those two teams. Neither one able to match the intensity. So there's something to be said for teams that have the ability to flip the playoff switch. Unfortunately, for this one, we have a Spurs team that didn't play in the postseason last year, and basically DeRozan's the one guy they got with, Patty Mills with ample playoff experience. Memphis has basically none. So I guess the Spurs have a little bit more than the Grizzlies. That 2 points me in a lean towards San Antonio plus the points.
San Antonio plus the points. They're also just one of those rare teams that did a hell of a lot better on the road than at home here. 23 out of 36 they covered on the road this year. So we'll see what happens tonight. That is game 1. We're going to move on, of course, to game 2. And wouldn't you know it, this one happens to come with a John Ryan of SportsMemo.com betting angle. And let's check out what John says here. Because it looks like now we are betting on favorites, working on 2 days rest to be exact. And if the total is between 210 and 219.5 in the NBA playoffs, 28-10 straight up, 74%, 25-12-1 against the numbers, 68% the last 5 seasons. And it just gets better for their 64 in last playoff season. We are talking all day, every day, and I know Ski is smiling because he probably wrote this crap. bet the Los Angeles Lakers here in this one. That is where John Ryan over at sportsmemo.com is leaning. Brian, I am going to lean on you to bring in some perspective here, if you will. 5.5 is the number. 6.5 was an open. I'm seeing 218.5 right now. So the total coming back down. Teddy talked about flipping a switch sort of with these teams that have experience. And nobody got more experience than maybe these two squads here. So what do you like here tonight?
I'm a little bit torn on the side here. I don't want to go against either one of these teams, but I would prefer the Golden State side based on what the number is, but I don't know if I'll get there on that. It's a situation, both teams, you talk about experience. There's probably no two teams that more experience than these two when it comes to the playoffs. Both teams are excellent transition defense. The Lakers are number 2 in points per possession, points per play. They're number 1. Golden State's also very good defensively in transition, number 4 in points per possession, number 4 in points per play. So I think it's a situation where the game will be played more in the half court than what a lot of teams do. I know the Lakers want to play the half court. They don't want Golden State getting out and running because they're just not as good in that regard. And their better players are older guys that have gotten hurt a lot. So you don't want Davis and LeBron out there running up and down the court when you'd rather have them in the half court. And that's where they get the advantage over Golden State. Golden State's not as good of a half court team defensively in certain regards, especially going inside. There's a big size advantage for the Lakers going inside here. So nothing on the side, but I do believe the game goes under the total. It'll be a game that I'll be watching. I'm sure we'll all be watching just to see what's going to happen for the rest of the playoffs between these two teams. And at least for me, it's probably the most exciting out of these 4 games we've started the season, the postseason here with.
Yeah, there's just a part here, Tony Mejia, that feels like this is going to be more of a finals atmosphere than it is an actual play-in atmosphere. So talk to us about this game tonight. How are you going to approach it?
Well, 2 things stand out for me. One, to follow on what Teddy said, he liked the playoff experience angle that shone through yesterday. I like the rest versus rust because we had a situation where Malcolm Brogdon took the last 10 days off. He probably could have come back this weekend, came back, and he set the tone early. Karis LeVert gone, and it looked like Indiana was the far more rested team, had a lot more juice, and Charlotte didn't rest players down the stretch and really went all out to try to get the 8 seed, which they came up short on. Washington and Boston, same situation. Brad Stevens gave everybody off the weekend game against the Knicks. They had more juice in the second half. It looked like Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal were laboring. Obviously, foul trouble also played a part in their demise, but it's a team that it looked like Boston had the fresher legs. So Golden State, same situation. They went all out to get the 8 seed. They're shorthanded. You got a Laker team that's far deeper, that rested players like LeBron James, obviously Dennis Schroeder, although he says his conditioning isn't where it needs to be after the health and safety protocols. But again, you expect them to have more juice. They're also deeper. They're also far bigger. And that's the second point here. So you really need, if you're Golden State, to either get Curry going off early and have, when he misses, long rebounds go your way, because between Andre Drummond and Anthony Davis and LeBron James and Kyle Kuzma off the bench and even Montrezl Harrell, Draymond Green and Kevon Looney have their work cut out for them, and Golden State can't afford foul trouble. So on the road, especially since Golden State has made their run at home, it looks like an uphill battle for them.
All right, gonna be a long night there for Golden State. Teddy, listen, it's their defense, the Lakers, that got them through a lot of stretches here this year. Do they show up and show out tonight again? Are we looking at an under? Do you like a side?
Yeah, let's talk about the side for this game. I'm in play with the total. Again, you can get that selection right now, either at WagerTalk or SportsMemo.com. But I want to talk about a concept that a couple of you guys have mentioned with Golden State as being this playoff veteran team. The Lakers are a playoff veteran team. That team went to the finals last year, and everybody on that roster basically has playoff experience. For the Warriors, it's Draymond Green and Steph Curry. Kevin Looney's been on a couple of runs. And I guess Kent Bazemore played in a couple of playoff games like 5 years ago. It's not a deep Warriors team, and it's not a team that top to bottom has that same level of experience when it comes to the postseason. We heard a couple of guys talking about a little bit of a home road dichotomy for Golden State, and that was real this year. And when you have a team with a couple of veterans, like Curry and Green, who have won multiple titles, it can go a long way towards helping the rest of the roster understand what you have to do in the postseason. But to actually do it on that type of level tonight, I just don't trust Golden State. I think the Lakers are the better of the two teams. It's LA or pass for this better.
LA or pass in this matchup. So I'm wondering where this next guy is going to land on this Lakers Golden State game. If I was a betting man, I'm thinking there's going to be some purple and gold and just basically oozing out of them. So Ski, talk to me, man. Are you laying the 5.5? Do you have any questions? Break this game down for us, my man.
Well, I feel like there's a major advantage in the front court for the Lakers, like the guys all mentioned. I'll just quickly, first of all, talk about the props. And because of that size advantage for them, I gave me plenty of second chance points for the Lakers. That could be a major advantage. Who's going to be grabbing the rebounds? You can go Anthony Davis. You can go Drummond. I'll probably just prefer to stick with Drummond because, that's kind of what he's best at. His rebound total is only at 10.5. He's gone over that a few games lately, and I just see a big advantage for him there. Outside of that, who's guarding Anthony Davis tonight? The Warriors can't match up with the Lakers at all. His point total is at 26. He's averaged like 28, I think, the past 5 games, and I see him going off tonight. So I see the Lakers getting a lot of easy baskets, whether it's playing through Anthony Davis, whether it's second chance points or just scoring at the rim. I don't see Golden State challenging them. And as far as the other side, they're going to play Golden State the same way they play Damian Lillard. They're going to trap, double Steph Curry, get the ball out of his hand. And the difference, he can pass it to Draymond Green, and Draymond can play make. But if you're going to count on that all game long, and that's how you say they're going to beat the Lakers, I'll take my chances. I like the Lakers minus the 5.5. Best defensive team in the NBA. I think they bring it. Guys talked about the Warriors not being good on the road. I think they're like 7-16 as a road dog or something terrible like that. So I think it continues tonight, and Lakers win by double digits.
Yeah, it's I think anybody expecting this crazy 138 to 130 shootout is going to be sadly mistaken here with what you're going to see tonight. But it should be a lot of fun, and I'm with Ski. I think there's plenty of prop opportunities in this game, more so than even the first game. But we'll put it all together here, and we'll go around and find out of all the opportunities on the board here tonight between these two games. Which way do they lean the most? And before we get there, I do just want to remind you, NHL playoffs going on. Nobody better right now than Brian Leonard, guys. MLB, NHL, obviously NBA. Visit Brian's page at WagerTalk.com. Tony Mejia locked and loaded, whether it be the prop market, whether it be MLB, or, of course, the NBA. He's ready to go. And Teddy's already told you he is invested tonight. There is a play up on the board in the Lakers game from Teddy. You can visit him at WagerTalk or SportsMemo.com. And Ski, I can assure you, he is locked and loaded, ready to go here tonight. So visit all 4 of these gentlemen at WagerTalk.com. Teddy, I'm going to mix it up. I'm coming to you first here, my man. You put it all together. Talk to me, man. What's your best bet here tonight?
Sure. I'm going to talk about the Lakers and the Warriors, and I'm going to recommend laying the points with LA. It's a game I expect them to win. It's a game I expect them to win by margin, much like Ski was just talking about. Look at the last 2 meetings in the regular season, and I know the regular season meetings, you don't want to put too much weight on them. But the Lakers had the defensive answers for Golden State that few teams have had. 128-97 when they played in March, 117-91 when they played in February. One on each floor, one in Golden State and one here at the Staples Center in LA. So it's been the Lakers defense that's had answers. And look, Steph Curry has been on a remarkable run for more than a month. And if Curry goes off tonight, the Warriors are very live. But more than most teams, we've seen LA have the ability to stop hot shooting guards on the perimeter. I think that comes through tonight. I don't think Curry has a big game. I think the Lakers win and cover.
So polite, Robert, and well done, Teddy. Very nice there, right under the gun. Appreciate that. All right, we've got ourselves, and I am telling you, another Laker homer somewhere on here. I know we're going Lakers here at some point. So, Mejia, I am waiting for you to give me some sort of prop in the Memphis guy. I know you got something for us. Where are you going tonight?
All right, I'm going with Dylan Brooks and a fade.
Ooh.
Because Dylan Brooks, the number is 21.5, okay? And he's topped that in 6 of the last 9 games. So it's a little low. He only did it once, top that number in points and assists against the Spurs, but their 3 meetings are so long ago, you can't take much stock in that. But he comes off a 6-assist game, which was, against the Warriors, tying his second highest total of the season. He's really not much of a passer, more of a volume shooter. And in this game, I think the ball will just be in Ja Morant's hands. They'll look to get Jonas Valanciunas the ball. Obviously, Jaren Jackson has to get involved. And again, he scored 23, 22, 30, and 18 in his past 4 games. So it's really interesting that the markets have settled on 21.5 as a number. I was fortunate to win with Evan Fournier, fading him yesterday in a prop. So I'm looking for Grayson Allen to also come back and steal some thunder. Give me the under on points and assists for Dylan Brooks.
Love it. I'm also seeing 3.5 rebounds as the number 2, which is a little strange there. All right, Brian Leonard, come on, my man. Talk to us. On the board tonight, can't go Cavs, and you're not going to go Indians. So go ahead, talk to us. Where are you going tonight?
I'll go with the Cavs under.
Win totals already?
Guaranteed. No, just in the game. They're not going to score tonight.
Oh, Teddy just shot a 3. Look at that. Okay.
Let's take a look at that first game we discussed, San Antonio and Memphis. And I talked about how these two teams have really lit up the scoreboard when they play each other this year. But playoff basketball is totally different. Teddy did make a nice point about the San Antonio defense not looking good all season. But I think they come out to play tonight. I think it's a situation for me that both teams really clamp it down defensively because of the importance of the game. I do want to point out that being with all 5 spots here reminds me of one of those terrible ESPN game shows they have in the afternoon. So hopefully it's a little bit better than that. But give me the San Antonio-Memphis game under, and that'll be my best bet on the show today.
That buzzes ass on principle. Thank you very much. There you go. You ain't getting out on ESPN, Leonard. I don't even want to hear it. All right, here you go, Ski. The ball is in your court, my man. Final word. Talk to us. Where are you going here tonight?
Well, I'm going to prove you wrong and go a different direction. We've already had Teddy. We've had John Ryan say the Lakers. So let's give the people something else that they can put some money on. And it'll give me an opportunity to rant, maybe for the last time, but John Morant and these Grizzlies, I don't trust them. I don't know. I heard Teddy say that they're going to have a tight leash on all these players. That tells you that they're taking the game serious and they want to win. And the ESPN thing with them leaving the Spurs off the graphic, all the players, I'm sure, took notice. I saw DeJounte Murray talk about it. But look at the Bucks, how they perform in the regular season. You can look at the Grizzlies, how they perform. Both of those teams can shoot. You see how it goes in the playoffs. You've seen it with Ben Simmons before when the roster around him can't shoot. The Grizzlies team is not a great shooting team. And when you play good coaches, you play teams that can game plan, they're going to expose it in the playoffs. You saw Golden State expose them last game. I like the Spurs plus the 4 points. Get John Morant out of here. Let's see his crying tweets afterwards and let it be the last time.
John Morant be burning that jersey tonight. I love it. Excellent job, guys. All right, to recap here once again, we'll break it all down for you guys in case you were wondering or just joined us. We've got Ski. Look at that. Spurs +4 here at Memphis. He just told you about Brian Leonard going Spurs Grizzlies under 222.5, while Teddy says Yep, too much Lakers. Too much, too soon, too often. Lay the 5.5. Love Tony Mejia's angle here. Dylan Brooks under 21.5 points and assists. I don't know where the 3.5 rebounds comes from either. John Ryan is agreeing with Teddy. Says lay the 5.5 with the Lakers. They win, they in, and that appears to be the direction they are heading. And once again, guys, do not forget, WagerTalk.com is where you can get all of these gentlemen right now. Get their best bets tonight. Now would be a great time. 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access packages are available right now. Visit their pages. That's Teddy Covers. That's Tony Mejia. That's Brian Leonard. And Ski Profit. Head over there now, and let's make it a profitable Wednesday here. Middle of the week, the Western Conference play-in tournament tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow breaking down, well, the remaining games over the next couple of days as we get ready for the playoffs on Saturday in the NBA. Games include the Miami Heat here, guys, Milwaukee Bucks, Dallas Clippers, and Portland, Denver heading into the weekend. So a lot to dissect, a lot of opportunities to make it a profitable week here, guys, at WagerTalk.com, certainly with these three gentlemen. So these four gentlemen, sorry. On myself. It's damn $5, Brian. You're right about that. Guys, hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Make it a profitable night, then come back and join us again tomorrow. We'll do it all over again for another special edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show powered by WagerTalk.com. Good luck, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.